Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a spectacular day. My name is Eric and I am glad you could be here because we have got a very special episode lined up for you today here on Celebrate Sausage. Today we're going to be making the Chile Relleno sausage. I first saw this sausage being made on another YouTube channel called Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. And I'm going to put a link to Joe's channel in the description box below. Check them out, subscribe while you're there. I think you're going to love the content. So while I'm watching Joe make the Chile Relleno sausage, I immediately fell in love with the idea. Chile Relleno is one of my all-time favorite foods on this planet. It's the second dish I ever learned how to cook on my own as a kid. You got to understand, I'm 50% Cajun on my dad's side, but I'm 50% Mexican on my mom's side, and half of my entire family lives in Mexico. So when I saw Joe take this classic Mexican entree, fuse it with a sausage to create a Mexican-inspired sausage, I knew we had to feature it on this year's show. So let me explain to you what a chile relleno is. In Spanish, chile relleno simply translates to chili that is stuffed, or stuffed chili, and it's usually a poblano pepper that's roasted, split in half, de-seeded, and then stuffed with various ingredients. It really all depends on what part of the country you're in, but it could be stuffed with cheese, with vegetables, with a meat mixture, or a combination of all three. To finish up the chile relleno, it's coated in flour and then dipped in an egg batter and fried, and the end result is absolutely stunning. And if you ever get a chance to try an authentic chile relleno, I highly recommend it. So in today's video, you're gonna watch me make my version of the chile relleno sausage. Let me show you how we did it.
All right, let's have a little bit of fun with this Chile Relleno sausage. We're going to start off with some lean beef, some lean pork, and some pork back fat. The lean beef is eye of round, and the lean pork comes from the hind leg of the pig. And I'm just going to cut this into pieces that are small enough to fit into the grinder. If you've got a large grinder, you can cut this into large chunks or large strips. If you're using a KitchenAid grinder, just cut them into small strips or small cubes. And we're just going to take the beef, pork, and pork back fat, and we're going to place that into our freezer because we want this partially frozen. Now it's time to prepare some vegetables. Chile relleno can be stuffed with any number of things. Most often you'll see it stuffed with cheese. But for me, in Monterrey, Mexico, when my mom or abuelita would prepare this for us as children, they would stuff it with cheese and picadillo. Picadillo is a traditional Latin dish that is meat, potatoes, tomatoes, herbs, and so on and so forth. And that's what we're making right here. So I'm going to add some of the elements from the picadillo that we had growing up into this sausage. As you can see here, we've got a chocolate habanero for heat. We've got our potatoes, tomatoes, and onions. And let's not forget the star of the show, the poblano pepper. This is the pepper that's used in the chile relleno. And all we're going to do to prepare the poblano pepper is set them over an open fire to roast until they are completely black. We want to char the entire skin of this poblano pepper. And once the entire skin has been charred and completely black, we're just going to place that in a bowl or a tray with some cling film and set it to the side. Now let's cook our picadillo vegetables. And to do this, we're just going to add a little bit of oil. We're going to add our potatoes, our onions, our tomatoes, and we're going to cook that until everything is softened. Now that that's done cooking, let's set that to the side and look at our poblano peppers. Covering these peppers allows that skin to come off pretty much effortless. So in addition to removing that outer charred skin, we're also going to remove the core and the seeds. And once we do that, we can just kind of clean them off in some running water. And now our poblano peppers are ready. So we're just going to rough chop them and get them ready for the grinder. And since our meat is now re-chilled, let's just grind everything up. Oh, that's perfect. Everything's nice and loose. We're going to go ahead and pop that back in the freezer to re-chill as we get our seasonings together. So let's start off with a little salt, followed by some black pepper, a little cumin powder, and some sweet paprika. You could go hotter if you want to go hotter. We've got some Mexican oregano, and then we're going to be adding some Instacure #1. And then finally, we're going to add a little non-fat dry milk for better moisture retention and some of its binding capabilities. All right, so the last thing we're going to add to this sausage is cheese. I'm going to be using a 3-cheese blend. You know, we've got the Oaxaca, Asadero, and Jack cheese. Any cheese you want to use for the sausage is okay. And be sure to check the description box below for a printable recipe. It's got all the details that you need in order to make this awesome sausage. And it has adjustable quantities, so that's pretty cool too. All right, let's get this mixed up. We're just going to start by mixing in our spices. And this is on a #1 setting if you're going to be using an orbital mixer or a KitchenAid stand mixer or something like that. We're now going to add cilantro, which is great for this recipe, unless, of course, you think it tastes like soap, in which case omit it. And for the liquid, we're going to be using a Mexican beer, and we're going to take the rest of that beer and turn it into a very refreshing michelada. So good. And then we are adding our picadillo vegetable mixture. And so I'm just going to spoon that in and continue mixing. During this time, our meat batter is going to slowly start to get sticky, and that's what I'm feeling for right now. As soon as it gets sticky, we're just about done, and all I want to do is add my cheese at the very end. So we're just going to add the cheese. We're going to mix it for another really 20 or 30 seconds until it just gets well incorporated. And there we go. When I grab a little handful of my meat mixture, it sticks to my hand when I hold it upside down. That's how I know it's done. So we're going to go ahead and just take it out of this bowl and get it ready for the sausage stuffer. And I just got to tell you, so far, this meat mix smells incredible. As far as the casings go, we're going to be using 3032 hog casings from the sausage maker. They've just been soaking in a little bit of water for about 2 hours. They've been properly rinsed inside and out, and now we're just going to go ahead and put it onto the horn. I do want to get a little bit of that water on the horn and in the casing itself. So we're just going to dip the casing in the water, and that's going to help it really slide on there effortlessly. Once your casing is on, you should be able to slide it back and forth without a problem. That lets you know you got enough lubrication and you're using the right horn size. Okay, so let's get this into a casing. It's now the next morning, and our casing is dried up a little bit. Our seasonings have had a chance to really come together, and our cure has had a chance to do its job. So we're going to go ahead and place this into our smoker. And before we start smoking the sausage, we want to dry it up just a little bit more and bring the temperature up just a little bit. We don't want to apply smoke when it's just out of the refrigerator. So we're going to leave the door open, set the smoker to 100 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. That's going to dry those casings up even more, bring the temperature up. And then we're going to start to increase the temperature slowly over the next several hours. Our goal is an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. And with Smokin' It's digital smoker, this is incredibly easy to do because it automatically cycles through the steps. If you don't have a digital smoker like this, just make sure you watch your temperature. Make sure it just doesn't get too hot too fast. Otherwise, you could render out the fat in the sausage, which will leave you with a dry and crumbly product, and we don't really want that. So let's go ahead and close this off. We're going to smoke it until we get to that 145 mark. And after several hours of cooking, this is what our sausages look like. We're going to pop that into a cold water bath just to shock them and stop the cooking process, at which point we'll place them on a wire rack at room temperature so that they can bloom for a couple of hours. So our sausages are completely cooked. You can refrigerate them, you can freeze them. What we're going to do is get these ready to eat by preparing the classic Chile Relleno coating. The coating for the Chile Relleno is a whipped egg coating, and if you look up on the internet how to make this dish, you'll find lots of different variations on how to make this particular coating. So what I'm just going to show you is the way my abuelita taught me when I was a child, and it's a very simple coating, and it's just separating your egg whites from your egg yolks, which is what we're doing right here. And we're going to beat the egg whites until we get a stiff peak. So we're going to put this on a low, and on the KitchenAid, that's a number 1, and begin whipping our whites. So while that's happening, we're going to prepare our egg yolks. And to do that, we're going to add a little baking powder to our egg yolks. And don't worry, the recipe link will be in the description box below. I'm also going to add a touch of salt. And with a fork, I'm just going to mix that until we have a nice smooth consistency. Once that happens, and it should look a little like this, we can go ahead and take a look at our egg whites. It's incredibly easy to overmix your egg whites, so you want to check them frequently. And once the egg foam stands tall and you have a nice stiff peak without it slouching over, you can go ahead and move on to the next step. And for the next step, we're just going to gently fold our egg yolks into that whipped egg foam mixture. We do want to be gentle because our egg foam mixture is pretty delicate, and so you don't want to mix it too fast or too aggressive. We're just doing a nice gentle folding to incorporate both ingredients, and once we have that incorporated, it's time to cook these up. So we're going to place our sausage in some all-purpose flour, and once it's completely coated, we're going to dip it into our egg mixture, ensuring that it's covered from top to bottom, side to side, and then we're going to place that in some oil that's heated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and fry this till it's golden brown. One thing to know about this particular coating is that it tends to act like a sponge in the oil. So once it's done frying, place it on a drying rack or some paper towels for a few minutes and allow it to drain. This also allows the juices to get reincorporated into the sausage.
The Chile Relleno sausage, inspired by Joe over at Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. This sausage looks incredible. I mean, it has those wonderful Chile Relleno flavors. You know, you got that picadillo, you've got the poblano, and check this out. I mean, this is loaded with poblano pepper. When I give it a little squeeze, we got cheese oozing out, juices oozing out. I mean, this thing looks incredible. Let's just give it a bite. Woo! That is one tasty sausage. And how do you describe something like that? I mean, it is bursting with flavor. As far as the sausage goes, great texture, nice meaty bite, very, very juicy. The casing's got a nice snap to it. And the way the cheese was incorporated, you get this really nice, soft, sort of oozy cheese in every bite. It creates this very nice, like, creamy experience. I like the subtlety of that picadillo mixture that we made with the potatoes, onions, tomatoes, and that chocolate habanero, just bringing that really nice, sort of fruity, tropical heat to this. And then there's the egg coating, which for me brings that signature flavor that the Chile Relleno is known for. And to have it on this sausage just kind of wraps everything up and seals the deal. What a great sausage. Wow, that's nice. That was a fun sausage to make. We want to thank Joe for the inspiration over at Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. Don't forget to check him out, subscribe while you're there. And if you have any questions or if you make this at home, I'd love to hear about it. Be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, a great big thumbs up is always appreciated. If this is the first video that you've seen from our channel, we'd like to say welcome. If you're into sausages, if you like making sausages, if you just like eating sausages, take a moment and click that subscribe button and that notification bell because we're posting a brand new video every day this month for Celebrate Sausage. I'm glad you could join us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.